Welcome to No Notes.
I'm Colby.
And I'm Alex.
And welcome back.
So how are you surviving this atmospheric river? This is like round number 2 in like 3 days.
It's really wet outside.
It's really wet. And the tree branches, can I tell you something?
Sure.
I've been driving with a nail in my tire for about 6 months. No.
And Hermione?
And Hermione. My car's name is Hermione. So
she's been through so much, girl.
I know. Every 3 days I have to put air in the tire because it gets the light comes on and I'm so lazy. I don't want to get the tire fixed. Also, it's like $500 extra.
And how long's your commute?
So it takes about 20. Well, I go to the gym in the morning and then from the gym to my work in the morning, it's about 15 minutes. So every 3 days I just have to put air in it and it's good.
You're too busy buying designer shirts to replace your tires.
I have a 2010 Corolla. She's from high school, and I'm driving her until she says stop.
And as I said, she's been through so much.
I know, and I do this thing where I add names to inanimate objects.
I do that too.
And suddenly I start.
You feel emotionally attached to it.
I also heard that's like a sign of
mental illness.
Yes.
Well, girl, where do you know you have that?
Okay. All right. Well, as always, we're going to begin this episode with tops and bottoms. For the new folks, we flip a coin to decide which one of us will discuss a top, aka the highlight of the week, and the other will discuss a bottom or something bad that happened this week. So I have a coin. Do you want heads or tails?
I want heads for tops.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, shit. Heads.
Sweet. So my top of the week is the beef between Megan and Nikki. And I bring this up because you are a self-admitted barb.
So here's the thing. It's sad that we just released those episodes, and although
now we're paying the price for it.
Exactly. I recorded the episode where I said I'm a barb probably in this sometime in December, and it
here we go.
Days later, the whole beef with Nikki and Megan started, and now I feel like I have to kind of address it.
Mm-hmm.
So here goes.
We should explain what happened first in case our listeners.
Well, how far do we go back?
I gotta stop calling them listeners. They're Velmas.
The Velmas.
Okay, so in case the Velmas don't know, which you'd have to be living under a rock to not know, but there's beef going on between Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj, and it originated from Megan releasing the track Hiss, right?
Well, no, it originated with Megan getting shot at by Tory Lanez.
Yes, okay, yeah.
So she got shot at by Tory Lanez, got shot in the foot. He was tried, and a jury of 12 found him guilty of assaulting her with a semi-automatic or a firearm. Megan testified, but for some reason, the entire industry of music has said Megan is lying, even though a jury of 12 people, which, my background, I'm a huge criminal justice advocate. If 12 people agreed that something happened beyond a reasonable doubt, it happened. It's so hard in today's world to get 12 people to agree on anything.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that 12 people who don't know her heard her testimony unanimously concluded beyond a reasonable doubt that this happened, it happened. There is no higher standard. And for the entire music industry, or, a portion of it, to say Megan is lying is ridiculous. It's fucked up. She is a victim of a crime. She got severely hurt. We should be protecting her.
Right. So you're right. It does go a little bit further back, but then where things escalated, and that's the most recent, what's caused all this online beef and stuff, I think, is the song Hiss that Megan dropped. And that was that on a Thursday or a Friday?
It was, I think, a little bit earlier. I think it was a Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay, so she drops Hiss, which has some disrespectful, I guess.
It was
references.
Stupid. The line was, they don't have to be worried about Megan.
They're worried about Megan's law.
And Nikki is famously married to a attempted rape convict.
Right, which Megan's law is, it's a California legislation, right?
Every state has a
version.
Yeah, in California, it's Penal Code 290, where you have to register as a sex offender.
Yeah.
So I mean that's
which is Is it
That can apply to anyone.
I was going to say, is it even clearly directed at Nikki?
No.
But I mean, if she took offense to it, she should probably wonder why.
Or maybe write a letter first.
Yeah. So then Nikki it was either like an Instagram live or TikTok live where she can't even be seen on camera, but she's just like,
saying like,
it sounds like an insane asylum. Like if she was in a padded room.
Okay,
like
I'm gonna call you out. So the track is released. It's Bigfoot.
Yes.
It's not a great song. Colby on his close friends list posted it and said, "Wow, I didn't know Nikki could still rap," and it was a bad rap. And the audio quality it sounds like she's like in the trunk of a car and someone's recording from 3 feet away.
Well, I was sort of being sarcastic.
No, you weren't.
But
no,
also,
you weren't.
The reason I kind of liked it is just how unhinged it was. But also, it felt like Roman,
yeah, definitely.
So it wasn't that I thought like it was a objectively good song or anything. I just was like, wow, you dropped Pink Friday 2 when you could have given us more of this Roman energy is where I was coming from.
I mean, that's the sad thing about this all is that Nikki is such a great artist. Like she could be amazing if she didn't have these like stupid.
Totally.
And also I think that there's something wrong. Like
probably
we need to talk about the Kanyification of like artists.
That should be a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kanye, Britney, Nicki, there's something that's not going on in the music industry. Maybe it's all the power going to their heads. Maybe it's a combination of drugs.
Yeah, I think
maybe
there's
it's
so many things probably happening.
Their trauma. It's bad though. Something's happening to them. She needs to stick down. And
it's hard to see two powerful women of color like go at each other too.
Yeah.
And when they could be like lifting each other up, which I'll put more of this on Nikki, frankly. But it's honestly, it sucks for both. Yeah. And there's like not really a winner, and it sucks for like their fans and their fans are being unhinged online, doing all sorts of crazy things. But what I also wanted to highlight was, did you see that Azalea Banks got brought into it?
No. What?
Oh my God. So people were trying to drag Azalea Banks in this just to get her opinion because she has unhinged and
like really
deranged opinions on all sorts of things. And so she made like a video on it too and was saying that Nikki is in desperate times because of she hasn't had her ass fixed. Because she was like, I know that the kind of work that Nikki needs done is really expensive to have all that stuff moving into different places around her cheeks.
Yeah.
And I'm not an Azalea Banks fan for a lot of reasons, but I just thought it was crazy just how much this keeps escalating.
Yeah. God. Well, my bottom of the week is SNL. Did you see their newest episode?
Oh, I didn't. Was this one a heavy
they had
Bowen episode or no?
Yeah, they had Bowen, but the reason why it's my bottom of the week is because they had Nikki Haley. And they're doing this thing where they're like making Nikki Haley seem like the reasonable candidate compared to Trump. And like, yes, Trump is crazy and Nikki is better, but she's not good either. She's the one that famous. They're like giving her this platform. Just like, first of all, she's not a comedian. She's not if you're going to have a politician on there, it's because you're in some way supporting what they're saying.
It could be a little bit of SNL trying to seem a little bit more balanced just because they had so much content around Trump before.
But then you bring that up in the context of like Democrat versus Republican, not two Republicans where one is batshit insane and this other chick is just a bad politician. Like her politics are bad as well.
It's unfortunate. I mean, if Nikki becomes the the lead for the Republican,
which she's not.
Well, unless Trump becomes ineligible, which it seems like
not anytime soon.
Right.
Another bad.
But let's say, Nikki does become the party's pick. It seems like it would be hard for Biden to win against that, just her age, for a lot of reasons. And what people are forgetting is it's not just Nikki you get, it's all the people that come with her into her cabinet. Yeah. I mean, that was some of the worst part of Trump's administration. It wasn't just Trump. It was his disastrous cabinet appointees. We're probably going to have some more Supreme Court justice nominees in the next few years.
Thomas and Alito are like 70s.
And if the bench goes any more conservative, I mean, we're already paying the price for the last conservative administration. So no, we absolutely can't afford, conservative.
In any position. Yeah. So shame on you, SNL. Like, come on.
Yep, I agree.
Or at least be funny. And it wasn't even a funny skit.
Ugh, well.
Terrible.
Anyway, on a lighter note.
Happy almost Valentine's.
God, it is almost Valentine's, isn't it? I will say January always drags on for me. This was like the fastest January of my life, I think.
So I always look forward to January because it's at the end of the month is my birthday.
Because you love January 6th?
Fuck you. No, because the 29th, I have my birthday with Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
We're both very similar because, we're both successful in everything we do. But that's why I'm always looking forward towards the end of January. I don't think January takes, it doesn't feel long. I'll just leave it at that. But we're now in February.
Yeah, we're already in February.
And it's almost Valentine's Day.
It's almost Valentine's Day.
Do you celebrate Valentine's Day?
Yes and no. I think it used to mean a lot more to me than it does now. I will say that.
Like what do you mean?
I just think all the holidays have become a little too commercial for me.
They're very transactional.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to get like Christmas, an example. I don't want to get every single person I know a fucking gift. Like sometimes my existence should be the present.
I feel like I should send you a bill for your present sometime.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I think as a kid, Valentine's Day was amazing. It was the shit in elementary school.
What did you love about it?
Well, you would get a Valentine's Day. Do you remember the Valentine grams?
Mm-hmm, I do.
So the way my elementary school worked is that you had to get a gram for everyone. Like the couple days before Valentine's
That's so
Day.
California.
Yeah, I know. Before the Valentine's Day, we would have like a day where we would make a basket for the grams to be collected in. Mm-hmm. So it was like super fun. You'd you'd go to the store, you'd try to like find a Valentine's Day gram that no one else is going to have.
Yep.
And then you'd write some note. I think I was like pretty generic. I'd write one for everyone and you'd have like a candy attached to it. And I'd get so much adrenaline from getting these gifts from people.
You just wanted to read praise about you.
Yeah. And then every year I'd also just like hope that people would tell me that they love me. There was this one girl in 5th grade. Her name was Ashley. She was like a very popular girl. And at the time I didn't really know I was gay. Like I knew I had like feelings for guys, but like I didn't know I was gay. I was always wanting the attention of this girl named Ashley. She was popular. She was pretty. I remember Valentine's Day was there and, I got my gram from her and she didn't tell me that she loved me. So I felt very disappointed. And then...
And you're not holding a grudge?
Not holding a grudge. But, oh God. She created this rule named the Ashley rule. So, we like right when we started school together, I knew who she was, but she didn't know who I was.
Wait, what do you mean she created this rule?
I'll get to it. So I had told a couple people, I think Ashley is really, really pretty. And the word got back to her. And then that's how she found out who I was. This was like when we first started at school. I was sitting next to a friend. She comes up and sits on the other side of the friend and goes, "Is that Alex?" And my friend goes, "Yeah." And she goes, "Ew." And I wanted to die. And so that's why to this day, I don't approach people because I'm afraid that they're going to go, "Ew."
Oh my God.
Isn't that so sad?
That is sad. I mean, I was kind of laughing, but it is also just because I can see it happening, but also that's so sad that you're still living with this trauma.
It's the Ashley rule. Have
you looked her up now?
She's probably doing bad.
You should look her up. I want to hear more. Report back to us about what she's doing.
Yeah, next week I'll have an update.
And then let's send her this episode.
So did you have like a Valentine's Day gram or like?
Yeah, sort of. So I remember that we would create these little, like out of shoe boxes, like a mailbox kind of thing. And you would keep it in your like cubby area and people throughout the week would just deposit their into that.
Oh, not even on like Valentine's Day?
It was through
Days
the week
before?
of Valentine's.
Okay.
I think it was just to give people opportunity to. Yeah.
Did you have to get everyone one?
No. Mm-mm. No, it was definitely a game of popularity.
Oh yeah, I would have just stolen, or I would have purchased my own and stuffed it. Be like, wow, another one.
I remember being at the kitchen table and like reading them aloud to my mom. It's like, look at how much praise I'm getting.
Wow, fat ass Colby. Oh my God, mom.
That's so funny. But it is true. Like there's something a little bit more endearing about it from childhood of just that playfulness around it, and less of just, you know, having to buy flowers for someone or some gift, like jewelry or something, and then like an expensive dinner that never ends up being good because it's always a prefix kind of deal.
Exactly. And it's way more expensive.
Totally.
And the quality hasn't changed.
The service is bad because the restaurant's full and they're like the same staff levels or less. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. These holidays are never that great to me.
Have you ever had like a Valentine's Day that sticks out as great in your head?
I feel like I should say yes, but nothing comes to mind.
No, I've never had a memorable Valentine's Day. Like, I feel like it's more by the numbers. Like, I feel like I have to do, like, so I actually made, like, I have in my head what to do. If Valentine's Day falls on a weekend, you make a dinner reservation. Mm-hmm. No gift exchange. Mm-hmm. The dinner is going to be so expensive. If it falls during the week, no reservation, I get them a gift.
Okay.
And the gift
nice
always under 100.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Have you noticed any differences between like gay Valentine's Day and straight Valentine's Day?
There's more bottoming.
Oh, do you think that there should be sex during Valentine's Day?
Oh, that's a tricky question. I mean, I never think there should be like an expectation of sex, right? But I think it's like
the last 3 Valentine's Day, have you had sex?
Oh, girl. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think like you should necessarily expect it of anyone, but at the same time, like it's a romantic holiday in theory, right? And obviously sex is a part of romance.
There's nothing romantic or sexy about planning.
Yeah. Also, if you're going to go out and eat like a big 3-course dinner,
right?
Too, like,
and you only eat pasta and cheese,
carbs.
Yeah.
So like, so it's, I mean, I don't know. That's the last thing I want to do after like eating a bunch. But it's,
Yeah. And again, if the Valentine's Day falls on the weekday, I have a really tight work and gym routine. Like I'm not going to stay up.
I thought you were about to say whole.
I go to sleep at 9:30, so I'm not going to stay up.
When you're going to squeeze it in, literally.
Yeah, exactly. And eating, again, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
If it falls on the weekday, no sex.
I will say though, I love getting gifts, and
that's your love language though.
It is, and almost everyone gets this wrong for me because, you know, they think I want something flashy or designer. I'm like, I buy this for myself all the time.
Opposite.
I want exactly.
I would never get you like I can never live up to your expectation of a
I don't have. That's the thing. I don't have that expectation of anyone. You know, like I really enjoy a thoughtful gift, like
what would be a gift?
Something you've picked up on that just in passing that maybe I haven't even thought of. You know, I love when people do that sort of stuff. Like that to me is more like demonstrative of love and you know, your affection than some like, you know, like luxury designer item, something like that.
I 100% agree. I think the best gifts are always like quirky things about the person that you pick up on. Like
just give me like a little you know, stack of your pubic hair with your ribbon around it, Alex, and that'll be I'll just be like, oh, he's
another
with me
one
all the time.
I'll add it to the collection of the hair he left on my couch. God. Do you think that there is like a price range that you look at like when you buy a gift for Valentine's Day, or do you not care?
I mean, I agree with you 100 or less, but honestly, I think of even, you know, really simple gifts.
Like I think
here's a little treat. Here's like some cupcakes.
Yeah.
You know,
have you ever gotten flowers?
No, but you know what? I've always wanted an edible arrangement.
like the chocolate covered strawberries and stuff
bananas
like that?
and stuff. Like I
Yeah.
know it's gonna be awful,
Okay.
but I've always like when I worked in like old school corporate
All those
America,
bitches always
I
got it.
wanted someone to send me an edible arrangement.
So I used to work at this office, and there was a really, really, really pretty colleague, and she would get flowers left. So she is so pretty, like male models follow her on Instagram.
Wow.
She would get flowers all the time, like random people that would pop in would just deliver her flowers.
It's kind of like straight guy thing.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what's wrong with me? You know, why don't I have that?
Why don't you choose me? Why don't you love me?
So yeah, there is something about like flowers and arrangements that like
It's more straight.
it's more straight, but there
Valentine's
is like
culture.
I could see why like it's just like a really nice surprise.
Yeah, like a gay Valentine's gift is like your partner's wearing a new cock ring.
Yeah.
You know?
Ooh, speaking of, have you ever been gifted or gifted sexy underwear for Valentine's Day or any?
I don't think so. I don't think a lot of people would they would get it wrong, you know,
Yeah.
like the kind of underwear I would like.
So what do you have? Like, what is the underwear that you like?
There's definitely a hierarchy.
Oh, what is it?
So I would say jock straps at the very top.
What kind though?
I'll get into this in a moment because I think I know where you're going
Yeah,
with
I'll
this.
let you go.
Jock straps at the top.
Okay.
I would say probably thongs after that, but it has to be like the classic style, like not a G-string or any of that. Nothing like lacy, you know, just like it's like a brief, but it's in a thong style. Then I would say briefs, like a nice like small brief,
the classic brief.
Then probably boxer brief.
Okay.
And I would do trunks and then boxer briefs, and then maybe boxers, and then finally at the bottom is the catch-all for the G-strings, and then my very least favorite is whatever those like assless briefs are.
Yeah,
it's like a jockstrap brief high, but like I feel like Andrew Christian is
probably
like the main pusher of that product. Are you mostly wear boxer briefs?
You've seen my underwear.
That's what I'm saying. They're like briefs, right? Or like boxer briefs, like mid.
No,
thigh?
they're definitely trunks. They're like tight trunks. But I'm thinking of
also
actually
skid marked.
No. I don't poop. It's sealed. I'm thinking of actually going into the classic briefs.
You should.
So I was so close actually.
It's giving like straight guy.
I know, and like
professional straight guy, you know, clean cut straight guy.
Yeah,
but you need to go smaller.
My partner wears briefs, and I love that he wears briefs. I'm like, you know what?
You also like a Speedo now, which it took forever to get you into a Speedo,
and
but now that's all you wear.
It's part of my personality,
right?
I don't have to develop one now because I wear Speedos. But same thing with briefs; it could just be an extension. I got to go back to my original question: what kind of jock?
Oh, like a more classic athletic style.
I only like the white,
like the bike
band
brand.
Yes,
yeah,
I think that's
like
the only one that's sexy.
The meshy sort of pouch, the wide band.
The wide band. That's like specifically what I like. And yeah, I only like it white. I think everything else, nah. And then I also like the thong G-string. Not for me.
Definitely not a G-string.
Or thong. You also said boxers were like towards the bottom.
Yeah.
Did you ever see like, I feel like a lot of movies growing up, they always had like the loose boxer fit on like really, really hot guys.
Yeah.
I still kind of associate like the hot straight guy wearing boxer. So I would put the boxer like a little bit higher.
No, boxer to me is psycho behavior because there's zero support in that. And so you're just free hanging all day, which is not comfortable. Like, why are you dealing with that? And then when you're wearing pants, like your junk gets caught on one side.
It's a G-string. It becomes a G-string.
It's awful. And then also with all that loose material with like straight guys, I just, like I said, I know they're skid marked. So boxers just give me serious ick. I was saying that I really think that underwear has such an important place in queer culture. Like, I feel like one of the first places where a lot of us had a sexual awakening was the underwear aisle.
Yeah, I knew exactly.
Did you have that?
Yeah, when I went there, I would
tell me more. Where was it? What age were you?
So it was I don't know how big of a brand this store was, but Mervin's. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
It's similar to Kohl's. I would say.
Okay.
So they're completely out. I think I don't know when they went under, maybe 2008. But it's very similar to Kohl's. They were like one of those big department stores at malls, and I remember that's where like we would go, get our socks and underwear, and I would love to pass that aisle because I would get to see the packages, and that get to see all the buff headless torsos, or maybe just like the all around like good looking American model on the cover.
Yeah. I remember fairly young, like maybe 9 or 10ish, when we would go to the mall. My mom would spend forever at the makeup counter at like a JC Penney's or something. Yeah. Maybe it was a Nordstrom actually. And I would just sort of like roam off, and it was near like the men's like underwear and socks were near the cosmetic area. And I remember seeing like the fancier packages of like branded fashionable underwear, and it would be like ripped models with like the exaggerated
like Calvin,
bulge sort of thing. And then I also remember when I started playing baseball, going to the sports
and smelling the cups of the boys.
Yes, totally. Going to the sports goods store, and they would have the jock straps.
Yeah.
And even early on, I was like, oh.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. The classic white jock strap. Oh, you can't get better than that. Cannot.
And I think it's been an important thing for me for a long time. Like, number one, I just think it looks good. And things like jock straps are functional for more than just wear. But when I started working in corporate America, my first job was a company that has a fairly like old school, stricter dress code. Mm-hmm. And so I had to dress every day in like khakis or slacks and like boring button downs. So underwear was like a little bit of a way for me to claw back some of that power, I guess.
Did you wear jock straps?
I could be in like a, neon pink jock strap underneath like the most conservative outfit. And for me, it was just like a little bit of a power move.
Would you ever feel like self-conscious of it, like showing the band line?
No, I'd probably want them to see it.
Oh, slut. You're such a slut.
Honestly, around that office, there were a lot of hot guys. So
more open invitation to them.
It's more just like, you can stare at it
guys,
if you want.
Hi, I'm here.
It's Cindy, it's just bones.
Yeah. Barely hanging on.
It's taped on.
Oh, God.
My butt's bigger now.
Yeah, I have told you that. You have put on some muscle in all the right places.
Mm-hmm.
So for this week's No Notes section, we're going to talk about Gemini, which is a San Francisco queer party.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have its own venue, but you've actually been to a couple of Gemini parties now, right?
Yeah. So Gemini historically, as far as I know of, was more of a day party, mm-hmm. and has, from what I've seen, transitioned to mostly nighttime parties now. And there's a few of these around the city. Electrolux. What's the one they do at El Rio? Or is it
Daytime Realness?
Daytime Realness. Yeah. So there's a bunch of these different like parties, and I think we'll do this
ongoing parties.
We'll do this in an upcoming episode. But there's been a shift in people going out to like the bars and more so going to these ticketed events. And Gemini is probably one of the more popular ones here in the city. Notably, you called it queer, which it is. It's they do a really good job, I think, of like emphasis on being inclusive, and even all the advertisements that they do on Instagram and such, they tend to show like the more like
gender queer
and like just
to it. Yeah.
People that are dressed in all kinds of unique fashion. So I really love that about it. But yeah, recurring sort of party. It's almost monthly, I think. I've gone to it a few times at Eve nightclub here in San Francisco, and I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah. I think it's been at Club 6 before, but and we've been to Club 6 before, but this was my first experience with Gemini, and I was glad to see it at a bigger venue like Club 6. Yeah,
so this was, I think it was the second anniversary of Gemini, so this is a little bit different. So they're always themed, and usually, or the last several that I've been to, they were color themed. So it was like black, pink, etc. And people would just go in that color. This one, I think for the second anniversary, they want to do something a little bit grander and a little bit wilder.
Yeah.
And so this theme was like a lingerie theme, and it was in Club 6, which, as Alex mentioned, we have gone to other parties there, and it's a significantly bigger 2-story venue.
Yeah, I love that they did this venue because it's big without having it be so complicated. Like there's not so many small rooms. Like it's basically
it's 2 dance floors.
Exactly, a ground level dance floor,
and
2
dark
bars,
room.
and then you go downstairs and there is a basement level. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
Another bar, and then you also have like a dark room.
Yeah. I will say, and I meant to talk about this at the beginning, but another thing I love about Gemini is they do the BIPOC tickets.
Yeah.
And they also do, like, you can reach out if you have like an affordability issue and they'll work with you. I don't really know what that means, but they list it on every single one of their every one of their event posters.
Yeah.
And I love that because obviously with these events being ticketed events, it can become a little bit more exclusive. So I like that they are not letting that become a barrier to coming, hang out, and being in like a safe queer space.
Yeah, and for people that don't know, BIPOC, it's a Black, Indigenous, person of color. And like Colby said, they have an option, specific number of tickets for BIPOC people. I think it has its own amount of tickets. So that doesn't like sell out like the regular general admission. So
it's great that they do that.
Love that. And what did you think about the party this weekend?
Yeah, it was interesting. First of all, it was a good time. How many of us were there? Like
probably like around 8
or 9.
Yeah. I was actually a little not concerned, but I didn't know how many people would actually show up because, first of all, there's an atmospheric river going on.
Yes.
And I think for the first time this year, there were so many competing parties.
Yes.
There was the White Palm Springs party in San Francisco, which wasn't white themed, superhero themed. There was also Sasha Colby at Oasis. And then
Electrolux the night before, so it wasn't clear how many people would be doing round 2.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was like a great crowd, especially like I left a little early, but when I was leaving, it was like the perfect amount of people where it's busy, but it's not so bad that there is no space for you to just hang out and chill.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like the crowd size was like exactly what you'd want.
Yeah, I left at 2 a.m. and people were still piling in and it was really busy. So yeah, I mean, I think it was clearly successful and popular. Another thing I want to say about the Gemini folks who ever run the party, I feel like they're always really nice.
Yeah,
everyone from like the entry to coat check, the bar, like I've never had an attitude problem at their parties.
Yeah.
And I feel like we run into that at a lot of these gay events, and it just kind of puts you in a bad mood. But they seem like really professional at running this event.
Yeah, they're extremely nice, and you can see that they care about inclusivity because not only are they having models on their advertisements, but I saw a great number of non-binary trans people at the party, and it's like great for them to be at these spaces. Like it's not just all shirtless men with 6-packs. Like there's actually diversity in the crowd.
Now I will say for the theme, for lingerie theme, more people, including those in our group, could have done a better job of dressing for the theme.
Yeah. So I just...
No, well, tell them, what did we go as originally?
So we last weekend thought it'd be so funny if we went in like sleeping tunics with sleeping hats and a candle.
Think like Ebenezer Scrooge, like nighttime Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah, like Merlin, Disney Merlin is what we looked like. So I was able to get these plastic battery powered candles into the club. I was wearing my tunic.
Them up his butt.
Yeah, a lot of room back there. But I was wearing the tunic, so everyone was just giving me like stares. It was like striped. We looked like boy in the striped pajamas.
Yeah.
But we were able to get through. I I don't really understand. What was the connection to lingerie that we
Well, it was like sleepwear.
Yeah, it was like
and we were just
sleepwear.
like, you know, it'd be great is if we went in like Victorian style.
So we actually
sleepwear.
did a pretty funny little
Funny to us.
yeah, funny to us.
But in these kind of events, if you're not showing enough skin or anything, people are like, what the fuck are you doing?
I think it's so like it's a brand new, like a great perspective when you can show up to these places funny because
Just have fun. Yeah.
just have fun. Like a lot of the times these parties, they become, more about like how sexy you are, which is fine. But I think it's like refreshing to see like a comedy spin to it.
Yeah. I will say that themed parties usually become really exhausting to me because you have to have a whole separate like costume wardrobe. Like how many times have we been invited to a silver space themed kind of party?
Yeah.
But I do like the Gemini one that it's like a little broader. So if it's like just pink or just black or whatever,
A lot of interpretation.
You can make it whatever you want.
And you are a person that gets kind of stressed out.
Oh my
themes.
God. Because if it can feel like too restrictive, but like just a color or something, that's easy. You know?
Yeah. How did you feel about, so underneath the tunic, you had an actual.
I was wearing a jockstrap and then I had silk, like oversized boxer briefs on top of it. And then of course the standard tank top because it's always hot in these sort of parties.
Yeah, it's a must. Did you ever take off the shorts to reveal the jockstrap?
No. How do you how do you feel about people getting down in their jockstraps in parties?
I mean, I think it's fine. I think the only time it becomes concerning is when it's the spaces of the issue.
Yeah.
Like
and people's like butts are up against you.
And it's sweaty. Like I don't want to touch that.
So agreed. Like I'm super hygienic.
Yeah.
I don't know about everyone else. So it feels a little gross to me to see that many people down to their jockstrap. Like, it's cool when you have like the band up and you're like just kind of being cheeky and revealing it. I don't know that I need to like see your ass.
I always think about the update on my monkeypox vaccine during these events. I'm always like, yeah, I definitely got the second one. I'll be good.
Yeah, it feels a little unhygienic. But you know what? To each their own. But I'm probably not getting down to it. Plus, I will say this: like gay men, we are not the best with consent. Like we will do sort of the same thing that I think a lot of women experience, where it's like people take it as an open invitation to touch and grab.
Yeah.
And it's not, just because you're showing your ass.
And one thing I will mention is that Gemini was really, really good about in their advertisements. Hey, consent is a thing.
Well, and that was the signal that this Gemini was going to be different than the other ones. Not just the part about consent, because I think they always care about that, but just there was so much emphasis on this one, and some of the advertisement they were showing, they showed a sling and that this was going to be a more sex positive or sex forward party. Which, like, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about parties that are, sex is a major theme of it?
It's going to happen regardless. So like sex at a lot of these parties is going to happen regardless of whether there's a space for it or not. I'd rather have a proper space for it because I don't want to be in a dark room
it's
the entire
kind
time.
of interesting. It's still novel to me. As many times as I've seen it and I expect it, I've never adjusted to it because, like, if you go to a straight bar and people start having sex, they get kicked out.
Yeah.
So
they go to the bathroom.
Well,
straight people they love to be on their, high horse the entire time, but they go to the stall and they have sex and they do blow. They're just a lot better
and they're
at
guilty of all the same things for sure. But it's knowing that it's going to be like such a recurring thing and you're going to see a bunch of it is just something I haven't adjusted to. But I will say, and kudos to Gemini for this, the dark room was kind of like sexy and, dare I even say, romantic this time.
So this was the first time that I've seen a dark. So we got there really early. We got there right when it opened.
We were the second group of people in this place.
Like my coat check number was 3. So we were really, really one of the first people to get there. But they decorated the dark room. They put these see-through. What would you call the material? Yeah,
like see-through kind of meshy curtains.
And they sectioned off like certain parts within the dark room, and they put couches.
They had couches, and again, also kudos to the Gemini team. Everything was super freaking clean. Like I realized we had just gotten there, but I mean, that's not like a nice club per se. It's kind of gross.
Yeah.
And at least the setup they had put, everything felt like sparkling clean and nice. But like we had gone to another party at this venue, and that dark room was literally
disgusting.
Like the floor was sticky.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely no couches. There's definitely no curtains. Like it was just like a hallway where people were having sex.
But they actually created like little intimate spaces within this, also including a sling.
Yeah. And we ended up disposing of our battery candles on the sides of the sling.
And it made it even more romantic.
It looked like a seance. Like it was cute. It was cute.
I think we have a funny picture of it that I'll put up. But can I tell you what happened last night?
What? So I left early at 12. What happened?
Do you remember what I've always wanted to see at Folsom and never saw?
Someone getting fisted.
And I saw it last night. In the
sling?
In the sling. In the most casual manner. Like,
can you describe the people? Is it the classic people that you would expect to get fisty?
No, they looked like aged out twinks. Like 28 maybe.
Yeah. Okay. I get that.
So Andrea suggested we do another lap through the dark area. Just
it's fun.
Everybody wants to
funny.
see what's going on. Like you may not want to participate, but I've seen previous coworkers getting railed out before.
There's no bonding with your friends like going through a dark room.
Yeah, it's like a haunted house.
It is like you come out stronger.
Yeah, and we can all just have a little cheeky laugh about it.
Yeah.
But this guy with really massive balls, by the way, was just getting fisted in the most casual fashion. No noises. He was just smiling up at the guy doing it. And it wasn't like a little hand. He was already almost to elbow.
Oh, shit.
And people were standing around just staring, I think in awe.
Yeah.
Like this was just
I would be scared.
I actually had to stay there for a few seconds and just watch because I was like, I've not seen this happen.
Andrea told me that he got nauseous and had to like look away. He got like lightheaded.
Honestly,
I'd be kind of shocked too, but he was like, I need to like talk to a scientist or like an anatomist. Like, how does the like fist not completely damage the? I'm not even gonna get in there. We're sex positive.
I think those walls just expand.
Man,
I mean, you should know.
Oh God.
But I was just so floored to see that. I'm like, wow, at a casual party of all places.
Yeah. Well, you can check it off your bucket list now. Yeah. You can die.
Yep, I've seen it.
Be happy. What was I going to say?
I wanted to talk about the music.
So that was actually on my notes, like the actual notes section.
This is your critique.
Yes. I actually hated the music.
If anyone from Gemini listens to this, I also agree.
At one point we looked at each other and we're like, did they just repeat the same song?
It sounded like it was going on for 45 minutes.
Over and over. Maybe it's like more to the DJ, but they gotta.
And this is actually a critique I have of every Gemini party that I've ever been to. The music has not been it.
Yeah.
So I think they seem to work with some sort of repeat DJs that whoever runs these events must really like.
Or they are a producer and they're like, this is my time to.
The music is very niche. Like rarely do I hear a song that I have heard, a beat that I've heard. And you and I both listen to a ton of music.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it's bleeding edge stuff that like, we just haven't heard yet. It gets kind of weird. And I will say though, so the two different dance floors, they had different types of music going on. Neither were circuity, which I can appreciate.
Yeah.
Like, getting
it wasn't
away
pots and pans.
Yeah, I can appreciate getting away from that. But downstairs was just like this recurring, like beats that weren't really distinguishable as anything.
I would only describe it as the sunken. I felt like I was in the sunken.
Well, the downstairs of that club always feels like that anyway.
Yeah, but the music did not help. It was more of a feel, like the music was so loud that they wanted you to feel it rather than listen to it.
Yeah. At some point though, the energy definitely changed. Like every time I've been to Club 6, I've never enjoyed the upstairs. That always has felt weird. But this time, actually, the downstairs got like kind of spooky, as it tends to do. And upstairs, they had like some lights going on.
It was cuter upstairs.
It was cuter. It felt lighter. It was easier to just vibe with your friends. And there were some like tracks, I didn't know them, that did have a little pop vibe to them. And the girls were vibing then. So upstairs did become cuter. But I would just say we need to bring us something we're used to a little.
Another critique was the coat check.
Oh,
it was probably
because it was only for like the one line.
It was probably one of the like poorly planned check lines I've ever had. One person would give you a paper bag and you would put your stuff in it, and then like they weren't keeping track of like, did you pay? Like, yes, I paid. I gave you a 20. Like, give me 15 back. Like, you had to explain to them. And then, like, at one point, they were like, oh, we forgot to give the guy a number. Like, how are we going to check that their number is associated with their stuff? Like, it wasn't good. And then when I was leaving, there was, like, probably 45 people in line because they were just not organized. It wasn't.
Also, paying for coat check's pretty crazy, in my opinion.
I only know paying for coat check, so I wouldn't know anything else.
Yeah, but how much was it? Was it
$5? It was $5.
Yeah.
I think they had credit cards accepted, but
well, I mean, like I know of pay coat checks at clubs where maybe you haven't paid to get in, but for a ticketed party where the tickets are like $40,
that's true.
I think that's a little crazy.
That's a fair point.
And especially in the city, people are wearing jackets, it's raining, cold time of the year. I don't know. It's just that part silly. It did look really inefficient. And they had like a paper list where you just wrote your name down instead of like the ticketed, yeah, it looked really poorly done.
Yeah, it looked like they just thought of it like last minute.
And I did see they posted like someone took the wrong bag last night.
Oh, shit.
So I don't think it was going well.
Oh, sucks to suck.
But yeah, I mean, overall though, I thought it was good. One thing that stuck out to me is that it never got as hot downstairs as it did the last time.
Great ventilation. Fans,
which
were great.
Tells me the last party we went to, there was the harder party, and the only thing that was fucking harder about that party was that it was harder to breathe downstairs because the walls were literally sweating, and
they were, oh my god.
Clearly, it doesn't have to be like that. They just chose to either not run the AC or the fans or whatever.
The fungus from The Last of Us started in that.
Oh,
in the basement
100%.
Harder. Oh, God.
I think we've critiqued this before. Why do these parties always have to be so goddamn hot? Like, I understand that someone's thinking like, oh, people are going to take their shirts off if it's hotter.
There's a limit.
Their drugs work better, whatever. Sis, the people are going to be doing that one way or another.
If it's hotter than 75 inside a bar, like, it's hot. It's hot. People are going to be sweating. You're going to have another liability.
Totally. Another critique. When we went to and this is not unique to Gemini, but just something I think Gemini could do better. When we went to the Bears in Space party, they gave out free earplugs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it stuck out to me last night. It was so loud.
So they did have a vending machine.
But you had to pay for it.
You had to pay for it.
I mean, I brought some, but I think you hadn't.
Yeah.
And you can say you should bring it and all that, but like how inexpensive is that?
They should have gotten all the and other again, parties will have like cups.
Ticketed parties are not just like $5 or $10, right? Sometimes these events are like $60, $80 depending on the tier that you get. It's not that crazy for them to like add on a few little things like that. They also just make the experience better.
Exactly. Another thing that I was kind of ticked off about is we got there right when the party started and it was raining and they made us wait for another 15 to 20 minutes. And it was like, I think it's because it was raining. They weren't ready at the time.
I mean, to be fair, who shows up right when the doors open? Yeah, so that was like on us, but I will say like, the ticket said 10 p.m. and it wasn't ready till like 10:20 or something like that. But again, the staff was so nice the whole time. And especially they even communicated that to us like, hey, it's going to be a few more minutes. Like we're working on it. So I appreciated that. I get it. But yeah, it would have sucked if there was very little cover. And if there'd been, even slightly longer line, we would have been standing in the rain, just getting drenched.
And it sucks when the theme is lingerie, so like you're gonna be cold. But overall, this is a party that I would go back to. This is a party that I would recommend to.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Gemini.
Yeah.
I like keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
I just think that there's some like slight tweaks that could be done to make it a fun party, but I really love that it's such an inclusive party. Yes, you're going to see like the circuity kind of crowd. They're always there, but I feel like it just feels like a more positive environment.
It's a lot more polished. It's a lot more positive. It's going to be a more diverse group than it's not all circuit queens there.
Yeah. And I love them playing around with the venues a little bit too, give us a different space here and there.
It's a playfulness to like the party scene, the queer nightlife in San Francisco that I really appreciate.
You can also tell that they try to create like an actual production. Like, I don't know if you noticed, there was like actual decor up, things hanging from the ceiling, lights. They didn't just take a venue and it's the parties at whatever this club is. They actually tried to like create an environment.
The go-go boys that they had, they had very diverse.
Boys. Yes. And diverse, they were serving it.
Great dancers.
So I thought it was a fun time, and I hope we do another Gemini soon.
Me too.
Anything else?
That's it. Those are my notes.
All right. Well, thanks for listening this week, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. See ya.
Hey, it's Colby and Alex here. Thank you for listening to No Notes.
If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to follow us wherever you get your podcasts and share with your friends.
You can also follow us on Instagram at No Notes Pod, one word, where you'll find updates on new episodes and see more into our lives and the stories that we share with you on this show.
Your support means the world to us. Until next time, keep it real and keep it queer.